It's me. I'm coming to you directly from the trenches. It feels like it's wartime sometimes. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. But I do hope we don't reach that point. Speaking of reaching points, oh brother, I really had a rough day yesterday. I had a really weird sneeze, and the floodgates opened for some reason. So my nose hurts. I'm okay now. I think it should be mostly okay at least. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let me put everything here, doing the thing. Is this laggy? Is this laggy again? Are we gonna have problems with YouTube again? It wouldn't surprise me. The usual, as usual. They can be really annoying. Every single time I have to see my new dashboard for a stream. God, it's so ugly. It's so ugly. It's so bad. God, that pisses me off. So I guess it only makes sense for us to start talking about YouTube, right? I think it makes sense. We can bring in some music for my ears. It's Pokemon Winter music to work on a quiet morning. Is it a quiet morning? Has to be somewhere. I don't think it's gonna be quiet, but sure. Let's see if it loads. Let's see if it breaks. Snowball City from Pokemon X and Y. It's probably correct. It's a little bit irking that they have black and white on the background. I don't know how I feel about that. Probably not good. Okay. So speaking of YouTube, we're gonna start with strong today. Hold up. There we go. That's a bit better. Speaking of YouTube, surely YouTube will never lie to me. Surely not. I'm seeing a lot of talk about this recently, so let's get through it. Because I think it's important, and it's not good. YouTube CEO says more AI moderation is coming despite creator backlash. Oh, bro, this is surely good, right? I've used AI to destroy AI. Well, not quite. Not quite, and that's the problem. I've seen some people, I think it's in this article, mentioning that, but this is gonna make YouTube great again. See? Because now with AI, everybody will be able to create stuff. So we're gonna have a lot of cool content creators like before. No, that doesn't make any sense. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I feel this is just it's not to speak. We'll see about that. YouTube CEO Neil Mahan. People will tell you this guy is not Indian. Having an image for this guy. This guy is incredibly Indian. Okay. Tesla platform is pushing ahead with expanded AI moderation tools, even as creators continue to report wrongful bans and mass takedowns tied to automated systems. Well, yeah, we've been talking about this for a little bit. We have more stuff on this for today, and they just don't care. They just don't really care. On one hand, they will tell you, well, we're gonna limit AI stuff. You won't see so much AI. We will not be recommending so much AI slop. Cesspit of hatred and lies. They're going all in on AI, okay? This is not YouTube. It's not yours anymore. This is AI too. In an interview after being named Time CEO of the Year, how did this happen? I don't believe literally all other CEOs were worse than this guy. I just don't believe it. Mohan outlined how YouTube sees AI as central to both creator growth and platform safety. Okay, I could believe in a different timeline where AI actually works properly. This platform safety nonsense. What do they mean creator growth? I'm assuming they mean just to make good content. It's not happening. It's literally not happening. The company is coming off a massive 2024 with over 36 billion USD in ad revenue and another 14 billion from subscriptions. Each YouTube, you're meant to call those memberships, okay? And have all YouTube watch time now coming from TV screens. Whew, that's dire. That's absolutely dire. I haven't seen any content creator actually mentioning that they have a lot of people watching from TV. So that's funny. Not because I think this is a lie, but because I think this is just a bunch of normies. The normies, sure, you have a lot of normies, they don't really represent YouTube, in my opinion. But it's modern day, so who knows. Mohan said AI will open the door for a new class of creators. Calling them a new class. I don't know, that wording seems a little bit strange to me. Who people lack technical skills or equipment? Well, it was never being about technical skills. Have you seen the good old videos? Yeah, that's not high technical skill anyway. But people still love them, okay? Like the YouTube poops and all that. Speaking of poop throwing, I suppose. And equipment. You think you don't need good equipment for AI? Have you seen the prices for RAM? It's getting crazy. Here the tank will revive YouTube's early era of enthusiastic amateurs while helping the platform surface stronger content overall. I see the words, they mean nothing to me. Revive YouTube's early era of enthusiastic amateurs. It's literally impossible. This is never gonna happen. You will need to change TOS for that to happen. You killed this sort of enthusiastic amateurs. Directly. It was not a byproduct of anything. You didn't like those creators because they might be a little bit too spicy, maybe we're not able to actually control them. And on top of that, you've been pushing for, I want to say, mainstream content for a long time. Like actual news media outlets and really famous people. Do we have to remember, even though it's gonna be difficult because they've been delisted from the site, do we have to remember that YouTube Rewind with Will Smith? Yeah, that's hot. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, come on. Helping the platform surface stronger content overall. This is stronger, not better. So I wonder what they mean. But the biggest shift is happening behind the scenes. YouTube loads more AI moderation as creators report mass channel bans. Oh, AI is the problem. How are we gonna fix this? Just add more AI to the fire. Why would you do that? That seems like a bad idea, no matter what you do. You know what? Maybe. Maybe it does, but we're gonna keep trying. You might be asking, what are they thinking? I can tell you, nothing. They are not really thinking. These people, as far as thinking goes, yeah, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot going on here. I've been thinking a little bit about AI recently. And I think AI, at least right now, it's just a little bit like magic, right? Not because it's incomprehensible magic, but the mechanics of it. You're meant to chant something to create something. In theory, every single chant, or a really specific chant, would always give you the same spell. It doesn't really work like that. I don't know why. But the thing is, when you have magicians in fiction, oh, you see us in fiction. When you have magicians in fiction, they usually study this for a long time to create the best chanting, the best spells, right? Spell, after all, comes from the speech. So they can cast the best magic possible. This is really new technology. These people don't really know what they're doing. So they're only adding more fuel to the fire. What happens when an inexperienced magician casts a spell or they fumble the chanting? A backlash. This is just stacking backlash on top of different backlash and see if you can get something good. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry to tell you this, it's not going to happen. According to Mohang, AI will be keying in policy misinformation, IP theft, scams, and what many creators have dubbed AI slop. I use the AI to destroy AI. Yeah, sure thing. I just in AI detection, it doesn't really work that well anymore. Because that's also AI, imagine that. Also, policy misinformation. Come on, man. We've been here for a long time. We know what you mean with misinformation. It's just information you don't like. It's nothing new. IP theft. You have a really an absolute failure of a copyright system, so I'm looking for that. Scams. Ironic. AI will make our ability to detect and enforce and violative content better. More precise, able to cope with scale. Yeah, this is a couple, right? He said, and that the system improves literally every week. What do you mean by improve? I don't see improvements. I haven't seen improvements on YouTube for a long time. It's only getting worse. The comments arrived at a tense moment for YouTube's creator community. Throughout November, creators reported widespread bans and strikes tied to what many believed were AI-driven moderation errors. Tech creator Enderman had multiple channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, abruptly terminated, and said the decisions were made entirely by automated systems. They're banning about channel every like second or 10 seconds. That's a machine. That's not people. They don't have enough Indians for this, even though there are a lot of Indians. The case went viral when YouTube reinstated a creator who was banned over a comment posted on an alternate account when they were just 13, which is hilarious to me. Absolutely hilarious. Once again, we have to be reminded, YouTube's rules are always retroactive, which should never be the case. But the backlash peaked. It hasn't peaked yet, but sure. YouTube told creators there were no bugs or non-issues in its moderation tools, and claiming affected channels were removed for low-effort content. The explanation only fueled more criticism. No bugs or non-issues. Make no mistake about it. This is not a bug. This is a feature. What a system does, it's what it's meant to do, after all. Problems have continued into December. Car YouTuber Alexander even won a legal case requiring YouTube to restore his terminated channel and re-enable monetization. But as of now, the platform has not reinstated him. We talked about this last week. Truly disgusting. Mohammed maintains that AI will ultimately strengthen YouTube's enforcement systems, but trust across the creator ecosystem remains shaky. Shaky? Shaky? That's even too good for them. With the company not doubling down on the same tech, many blame for recent moderation failures. All eyes will be on whether YouTube can stabilize its systems, or the next wave of automated moderation will trigger more controversy. Do you think YouTube's gonna get better? YouTube has never gotten better. It's always being erased to the bottom. It is really strange. It is really insane. But at the same time, it's not really surprising when you think about it. As we have known for a long time, YouTube is not really profitable. Their main profit would be... You think it's ads, it's not actually ads. It's selling your data. Make no mistake about that. After all, what is this but not Google? They will tell you it's ads, I just don't believe it. And... Get out of here. And if you think the backlash will help and YouTube will get better, I do have a bridge to sell you. You're probably not going to like it, but I do have one of those. It's not really mine, but I hope you don't mind. I found this week this tweet from David. He asked, I ask AI show, I guess. I don't know too much about this guy, but this seems interesting. I finally know why my channel was terminated. I finally found the reason, and it's insane. Here's thanks to my audience who posted this question on Reddit. I haven't seen the question, hold up. Let us take a look. Hold up. Let me bring this up. There we go. What happened to the channel I Ask AI? They had around 130,000 subscribers, and made videos asking ChatGPT about American politics. From what I can remember, some of the videos were I asked AI to predict Trump's next 100 days. I know my numbers, I promise. Or I asked AI about the Epstein files. I searched the channel on YouTube and it's gone, and I couldn't find any other videos or any trace of them on the internet. Weird, maybe they got terminated. Does anyone know what happened? Okay, we can go back here. They were trying to understand what happened to my channel after it suddenly disappeared. And that's where I saw something absolutely shocking. For some reason, thousands of spam comments showed up under my videos. This has been a problem for years. Many years. Do you guys remember the porn scam bots a couple of years ago? I remember that. Do you guys remember the Telegram impersonation scam bots? Like 3 or 4 years ago? I do remember those. Are they getting better? No. I don't think so. And you will see why. Completely related to my content, clearly from bot accounts. Some people even said they saw comments in Japanese. And of course, none of these comments ever appeared in my YouTube studio. That's the problem. These comments are just hidden, but they're still in the system. So you're getting punished by YouTube's sloppy moderation. This stuff is spam. So, we're hiding it. But you're not moderating something that you cannot see. Therefore, it's your fault. Therefore, we're gonna destroy your channel. How do you win? What do you do? And there's no way to fix this. Just add more AI. Well, why about I Ask AI? Well, I can't. They're banned. I read almost every comment I get, and I never saw any of this. But publicly, the spam comments were flooding multiple videos in just a couple of hours. Now everything suddenly makes sense. I mean, this probably happens because he was making content about AI. And have you seen Twitter? You have bots coming in when you use specific words, right? Oh, my account was suspended. Always bots. Oh yeah, contact this guy. This guy will fix your Instagram ban. We're like, I'm not even talking about Instagram. Stop it, right? Obvious scams. Or, because I've seen people being really careful about that, when you have artists trying to put out commissions, yeah, they also get flooded by bots. If you have those automated systems, so a massive spike of bot-like comments all at once, it probably auto-flagged my entire channel for spam activity and terminated it instantly. But that doesn't make any sense. That's like killing the dog because the dog has fleas. Sure, you don't have a dog with fleas anymore because you don't have a dog. What are you doing? It's pretty insane. It's exactly like about the dog that slipped through YouTube's filters. Not necessarily through YouTube's filters. If you cannot see them on your side, they're actually getting filtered. Kinda. But you're still getting punished. Team YouTube, please look into this. I had absolutely no idea this was happening, and obviously no creator will ever sabotage their own channel like that. Honestly, I'm even a bit relieved to finally understand what happened. YouTube, please investigate this. Talking to more machine demons, it's not gonna work. The first screenshots are from Reddit where my viewers were discussing what happened. The rest are from one of my videos, supposedly taken in the final hours before the channel was removed. Yeah, this is the Reddit thing. I remember the channel, I watch every episode, where else can you go to find that info? And here we have the comments. I can't believe that he bought the movie of Minecraft and now it's free. What? Thank you for this. We can't afford to watch this at home. This is a lifesaver. Thank you. Okay? Thank you. It should have been so much, but it's instead of SM, it's MS. Thank you much so, bro. I was here. For those saying, how's this not deleted? And something like that, how are you expecting you to delete it in 4 hours or less? Is this an actual guy? Or is this a prophet? I'm a little bit curious right now. Oh, sick, they had to wait for streaming services. I commend thee. Second time watching Minecraft movie. Person, yo, where do you watch the Minecraft movie? Yeah, YouTube, but ain't pirating. Sparkles. It's beautiful, I love this movie. Meme lines. So, from the movie, I suppose. I really only see 3. I don't think for a single moment this guy's content had anything to do with the Minecraft movie. So this is a weird, strange bot tag. I was here. Hearing you for the movie. But assuming in an inconvenient place almost the whole movie. Okay. Personally uploading a whole Minecraft movie. I'm downloading this. Downloading from making this free. I'm definitely watching this tonight. No way I missed it in theaters, and now I don't have to pay for it. Epoch? I'm able to watch the movie again. Thank you for posting this. I've been trying to watch this for so long. Download it right now. I can't believe that he bought the movie of Minecraft and now it's free. Thank you for this. We get. Ah, they showed the same comments, right? Yeah. Also, are you expecting YouTube to delete in 4 hours or less? Are you seeing automated systems? Yeah. How about that? Is the Minecraft movie really that good? I just don't believe it. Okay, I just don't believe it. Apparently it's not as good as The Last of Us Season 2, so... that was ridiculous too. Not gonna lie. So, I had to wonder if this was trying to... This was, in theory, maybe, perhaps, a way of increasing the reach on somebody actually uploading the Minecraft movie, which... Come on, guys, you don't know anything about piracy? You disgust me to no end. And... they got the wrong video, which is hilarious to me. How do you bot stuff wrong? Right? I guess that's my point. How do you do it wrong? Hilarious. It doesn't make any sense. What are you even doing? It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. How does this happen? I have no idea. It's so insane. I don't know where to start, okay? But apparently that's what's happening. Don't ask me. Well, that's what I'm assuming it's happening. I actually don't know. But I think it makes sense. Also, once again, pirating on YouTube. Yeah. That's probably a good idea. That's probably something that works. God. Young people. They're so ignorant. Quick clarification to avoid any confusion. I can say with absolute certainty that 0 spam comments appeared in YouTube Studio. I checked the channel, everything looked normal, went to bed, and by the morning the channel was already gone. On when you see thousands, it was describing the scale and suddenness of the spam wave. What I can say for sure is that there was an abnormal coordinated spike of spam comments in a very short time, which triggered the automated systems. Oh, I guess this would also make sense, right? Are you saying a competitor sent you spam comments to take down the channel? Probably, not sure who it was, but it was definitely a coordinated spam attack. Could be. Could be a different thing. We really don't know, but it's been happening for quite some time. And we have more tips about this that spawned thanks to this one, right? We don't know why YouTube is also determining creators. ISK Show has shown concrete evidence of targeted spam comment attacks on his videos, which got him banned by the morning. I dug deeper. Turns out these bots block the creators so the spam goes unnoticed. Wow. So they spam you, they block you, and then you can't see it. How does that make any sense? Sure, I think it's okay if you're able to block people on YouTube, on both sides. It makes sense, I'm not against that. I've never been against something like that. It makes sense. What I'm saying, what I'm asking is, If you're commenting something on a YouTube video or stream or whatnot, and then you block that user that's hosting the video, how is it possible that said user cannot see the comment, cannot moderate properly? Don't you think that's a really big problem? It's obviously a big problem. Imagine if I ran, let's say, it's a funny example. I ran a bot network that could spam a video with 100 comments in an hour, which is arguably not a lot, but doing something like this, and I would be spamming perhaps slurs or hate speech, as they say, and then block the guy. Now you have a big problem. You have a comment section filled potentially with slurs and hate speech. According to YouTube's TOS, it's your duty to clean that up. If you leave that, it's on you, you're gonna get banned. But you can't, because you cannot see it. You cannot properly manage your channel and what appears in your channel. Don't you think that's a really big problem? Then again, YouTube's rules have only been getting bad and worse as time goes on. And when you have stupid rules, you're stacking on top of stupid rules, you're gonna end up with something like this. A website that doesn't work. What do you do about this? I don't think you can do anything. I guess diversify. You're gonna fix YouTube. But at least you're not gonna be necessarily in person, which is pretty useful. The YouTube system punishes creators for attacks against them. Where had you been for the past decade? Yes. Not only attacks against them, but attacks against them they can't even see. Speculation. Sure, it is a speculation, but I think it makes sense. We know the jank of YouTube, so it's not really surprising. We also have this one. YouTube creators can be banned for things they don't even know exist. What comments we never saw? A video slash short YouTube itself recommended, labeled spam. They just told me today, 30 days later, that my channel was terminated for incentivization spam. A violation I didn't commit and didn't even know about. So now if you're too successful, they might ban you. Yes, you can literally suffer from success here, which is hilarious in a really sarcastic way. So one of my shorts hit 2.5 million plus views in hours through YouTube's own recommendations, and the very next morning my entire channel was gone. Whoops, how did that happen? No tools, no selling engagement, no boosting, just organic reach. In a system that treats growth like guilt. This is moderation, it's a broken system punishing creators at the edge of success. Same outcome, different excuse, and this isn't a spam. This is a broken system. I mean, once again, YouTube has been broken for a long time. They're only making things worse because they're not fixing what's broken, they're adding more broken shit on top. So how's that gonna work? It will never. At Team YouTube, at Team YouTube, at YouTube, at Team YouTube. Creators deserve clarity, not false accusations. And please fix this, it's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen, I'm sorry to tell you this. I wish that was the case. I just don't see it happening. It'll be like that, Mr. Stancil. It's pretty bad. I need a sip of water here. And I don't want to hate YouTube, but they're making it really difficult for me to not do so. Because if they keep breaking literally everything, all the metrics, all the systems, even something as simple as moderation and filtering, what are you supposed to do? No, really, what are you supposed to do? There's not much that can be done. So, what's gonna happen here? Well, sooner or later, you're probably gonna get banned. And since you probably have a massive following on Twitter to raise this stink, you're probably gonna stay banned. So congratulations. That's dire. Dire dogs, okay? Not good. And I suppose, speaking of nonsense, we have to talk about the nut. It do be driving me nuts. Not in a good way. Of course not. So we had to talk about the thing. Oh, brother, this is gonna be good. It is time to talk about the nets. I mentioned this briefly the other day, and I guess I need to properly expand on the idea. But you don't have to listen to me. You can just listen to the nut. After this weekly debacle as not finished, not really finished, but reached another climax, I suppose. Just from false ID. Following days of backlash, the nut has blamed anger directed toward Iron Mouse as coming from half the VTuber community, describing them as 40-year-old men cosplaying as 15-year-old anime girls. There's like 2 minutes, so I ask of you, please embark with me in this trip to hell.
Hey man, how do you feel about your chat and fan base being nothing but disgusting towards Iron Mouse after she defended you publicly?
Always remember, there's a massive difference between normies and antis. And this is it.
Oh, no, good sir, no.
Yeah, isn't that kind of loud? Hold on, there we go.
No. You see that? That's a VTuber right there.
That's a VTuber right there. Derogatory, I suppose.
Listen up, 40-year-old man.
Surely these people are great for the community. I don't like using that word, but people are using it, so it only makes sense.
In a 15-year-old anime 2D VTubing suit. Listen up. Listen real close. It is not my community.
My guys would never, right? My guys would never
say anything bad to Iron Mouse. Maybe here, there, maybe some light comments, but
some light comments, remember that. It's gonna be on the test.
I've heard she's been getting death threats. I've
seen a lot of people mentioning the death threats. Maybe to me, but I haven't seen any. And I'm willing to believe it happened. But then again, if I don't see any proof, I don't know about that one.
I've heard people have been saying disgusting things, and let me tell you who that is. That's not the fun-loving bungulator.
Fun-loving, by the way.
Sitting back on his couch, watching the stream for a couple hours of work. You know who that is? Take a quick guess. Guess which community that is. It's the community that can't handle that she congratulated us for winning.
It was not because of the congratulations, okay? It's not because of the win. It's because of the justification of adding people like this to the overall community. God, I hate using like half of these words. But then again, my point here is, do not appeal to antis. This is obviously an anti. I don't care what you think.
May I repeat? The 40-year-old men cosplaying as 15-year-old anime girls.
Oh boy, how many times have we seen this before? I wonder why. I wonder why whom.
That's who's doing that. I swear it. I would place every dollar I've ever made on it. That's how confident I am.
Maybe you shouldn't say that when you're extremely wrong, but sure.
1,000%. I'm telling you, they've dug a hole. If people didn't like VTubers before, get ready for a fucking wave, pal.
Oh boy, I wish that was the case. Oh, if people didn't like VTubers before, then why are you here? It doesn't make any sense.
Ready for a fucking wave. Because that was, honestly, I know it's all the VTubers, and I kind of feel bad for the good ones.
I kind of feel bad for the good ones. I'm gonna go back a little bit, because this line here is just absolute gold, okay? Absolute gold.
Wave, pal. Get ready for a fucking wave. Because that was, honestly, I know it's on all the VTubers, and I kind of feel bad for the good ones. I kind of feel bad for the ones that congratulated us.
The good ones. The ones who congratulated us. Surely, that's the good ones. Of course. Because they keep appealing, right?
Because half that fucking community just made them look like shit.
Good. Get out. It's that easy.
I feel bad for the good ones, like Iron Mouse and those. They don't
I feel bad for the good ones. See, guys? Those are one of the good ones.
deserve that. They don't deserve that. They do not deserve that, because a bunch of them just made the community look like shit.
To whomst? To you? To the people that already hate the community? Well, that's not saying anything. It's just hilarious to me.
Not us, pal. Not us, pal. Promise you. Not us. I swear to you, it's not us.
Not us. My guys would never. My guys would never. Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious to me. And of course, every single one has been coming out of the woodworks. Oh, so nice. They're so nice. They're fun-loving people. They love it here. We also have, of course, XQC coming in with the limp wrist. It's not a steel chair, it's pretty much nothing. Which is kind of hilarious to me. I haven't really seen this clip, but it's really funny. It's really funny, I bet. This coming from somebody like XQC, of all people. Let's be honest, most VTubers are using VTubing as an excuse not to show themselves because they are disgusting. I do not like the Sing of the Flesh. It was not by my hand that I'm once again seeing flesh. But what an absolute lie. What an absolute cope.
40-year-old man in a 15-year-old anime 2D VTubing suit. Listen up. Listen real close. Listen real close. It is not my community.
Let's be honest. Most VTubers use VTubing as an excuse not show themselves because they are fucking disgusting. I'm not being weird, I'm not discriminating. The
I'm not discriminating, he says, while actually insulting people.
vast majority of VTubers would love to be on camera, but they're fucking disgusting. And that's okay. It's okay. That's perfectly fine. But it's come on, bro. You know what I mean?
40-year.
Funny you say that when one of the biggest streamers happens to be a half-bald man by the name of Asmongold. I wouldn't say that guy is extremely handsome or anything like that, but then again, rules for thee, but not for me. Okay, hold up. Music back, of course. And I've seen a lot of discourse about, especially the likes of XQC and Shroud, because this nut individual happens to be a Shroud Orbiter. I do not believe this guy is not a plant, despite being also a nut. So I had this tweet here from Amber Paradox. In just a short reminder, XQC and Shroud were source code of Duckerverse Marvel Rivals team they were competing against in the tournament that they whined and bitched to Twitch, resulting in Twitch actually changing the rules the day of the tournament. This resulted in Duckybird choosing to drop out so her players wouldn't be forced to do so, and they could compete for the prize money. I remember that. I don't think I mentioned that on a stream, but I remember that. And Ducky's team absolutely carpet-stomped both Shroud and XQC's teams, and wanted to win the tournament. Clearly neither of them have gotten over that absolute humiliating loss, and now have some kind of pathetic vendetta against VTubers. Seriously guys, crowd the fuck up. And there was also another tweet, which I didn't save. This is XQC coping. And I guess it's not here in the replies, which is kind of a shame that I didn't save it. I should have, but I didn't. That apparently this strange enmity from these people don't come from the Duckyverse situation, but from something that happened way before that, like 3 years ago. Some sort of Elden Ring PvP tournament where they got completely destroyed by Girl DM. Funny how that works. Also, I need to mention, for obvious reasons, as you see, if you think people don't show themselves on camera because they're absolutely disgusting and really ugly, you're making a fool of yourself. You don't understand what the internet actually is, or what the internet was for the longest time. People enjoy their privacy. People don't like to show themselves because it's a security problem. When you have content creators literally being assaulted and killed, I would be on the side of, you know what, yeah, maybe showing yourself could be a problem. Especially if you keep incurring the enmity of people with such a large following. That's always a problem. But remember, guys, it's just a bunch of fun-loving individuals, right? So we have here just tweets that don't have anything to do with this, I bet. Well, sending the threads, brigading and starting harassment campaigns sure is a very odd way to do it, isn't it? How about taking your own advice? The tweet is destroyed, but it doesn't really matter. It's just a bunch of fun-loving people. Surely, getting these around is a good idea. Surely, appealing to these individuals is fantastic for, let's say, the medium. No, it's not. No, it's not. People are conflating the terms normie and anti. They're not the same. I do believe that maybe, perhaps, you should be trying to appeal to actual normies, people that are potential fans, or they don't know yet they could enjoy VTubers in this case, or your content, whatever it is. These are not the guys that fulfill those conditions. These are people that are clearly against your content, they're clearly against your gimmicks. This is literally an anti-brigade. And you can see the comments. It's just the same. It's always the same. The same as people that hate anime, the same as people that hate Japanese video games, the same people that hate gacha games. The whole discourse just goes down to the Diddy Blood pedal bait sushi country. Oh, see, I like anime, but the anime would be way better without those Japanese in them. What did you mean by this? See, people hate VTubing because you people are weird and strange. That's not a bug. That's a feature. You don't understand what you're talking about. Maybe because you don't care. Maybe because you're a literal racist. Because how many times are we seeing these supposed anime fans criticizing just a bunch of stupid things in Japan? Oh, Unit 731. Oh, Junko Furuta. Oh, the women only train things. What do they mean? I have no idea. These are antis. This is a long way for me to say they might enjoy the aesthetic, but they're getting filtered by the substance. And all of this debacle came not because, well, in the beginning kinda did, okay, in the beginning kinda did. It came not just because this nut ended up winning some sort of LA Streamer Click Award, when we know that it's probably rigged anyway. I do remember Asmongold offering 100,000 USD just so Cutie Cinderella would prove the votes were actually fair. She didn't accept, I wonder why. I would have done it for free, okay, if it was my awards, because it would be making sense. So, that's a little bit strange. The thing was, you had a lot of people. Oh, see, he's one of us. Do you really want this kind of audience? I don't know, man. I don't know. You see, but this guy doesn't hate VTubers. No, of course not. Look, I know I really push against the grain as the content creator. I know that a lot of the community at large wouldn't enjoy me. I know that I'm really opinionated, but I know I'm right, so maybe it's your problem. I know I say a lot of things people don't like to hear. I say, or I talk about a lot of stuff that it's a huge no-no. But it would be almost impossible for me to accrue a fanbase of antis. Because I do not believe I'm... How to say this? I'm struggling a little bit with the word, right? My kind of humor, for example, sure, it may be a little bit too crass, it may be a little bit too unhinged for some, but half the time you need like 17 layers of nerd knowledge to get what I'm trying to say. You don't know about this obscure band from Japan? Well, you're not getting the joke anymore. And sometimes just not even a band from Japan, sometimes just a European band or an American band, or sometimes just a really specific line that I found really funny from an anime from 20 years ago. And since I found it funny, I'm gonna use it. And people are not gonna get it. But I don't mind. I don't crack jokes for the people. I crack jokes for myself. And that's kind of the point. I guess that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. These people will not enjoy the content. These people will not enjoy whatever's going on here. And that's fine. They don't have to be here. You shouldn't need to include literally everybody. Especially people like this. How many times have we seen this, right? I really found this dude to be really funny because it all comes down to this. People may reply as going, your culture is nothing but DD Epstein blood piece of shit. But also Peanut's part of it, and you have to accept him. Or send me, bro. Pick a damn side. And on top of that, I do really love this reply. Your culture is bad. Now let us in. Boy. I wonder, where have we seen something like this? People call this tourism, people call this colonialism. You know what? Literally illegal immigrants. I don't care. I don't care. They have no respect for the people that were here before. They're just trying to extract everything they can from your goodwill. You know what I say to that? No goodwill. No bad will. Just no will at all. I don't need to appeal to you because I don't care about you. And you shouldn't be caring about me. If you hate me, I just don't care. I just don't care. You're just wasting your time. And that's also kind of my point. I understand the frustration with this whole thing. I get it. I truly do. But you shouldn't be appealing to these guys. These guys are clearly antis. You're not moving in that direction. People are saying, but you cannot gatekeep. You cannot gatekeep. But what you're gatekeeping is not the fact that you can stream or create content with a model. Of course, VTubing comes from Japanese. From Japan. Be it idol, be it anime. And I do find it really funny how nobody aside from me mentions Nico Nico Doga, because I do remember those old videos with people role-playing as well-known anime characters. Oh, this is like JoJo villains playing a Mario game. I do remember those videos. They're pretty old, but they are also part of what would become VTubing in that regard. I guess we can also mention Voiceroid / Vocaloid. I do remember the Grumble Fantasy guides using Yusuke Yukari. They were really helpful back in the day, at least for me. We can also mention the dreaded Yukuris if you want. But what you're gatekeeping is not a physical location, because this is the internet. What you're gatekeeping is your community. And I'm not saying necessarily the vtuber community at large, because I don't think it's actually real. I do agree that there are some common traits. There's a really simplistic but still common culture, like not showing your face. Then again, why I'm once again seeing flesh, I don't want to see any flesh. I guess seeing hands is fine, okay? I guess that's okay. I'm not against hand cam streams, and you can just use gloves, I suppose. Or you're trying to gatekeep that, I suppose. That's somewhat shared culture. They're gonna call you cringe. They're gonna call you a bunch of mean names. Why do you care? They're not gonna be your friends anyway. They're just trying to use you. So of course, you're completely free to be cringe. And they say cringe as in derogatory, but I would say cringe as in edgy and unhinged, which is much more fun. So once again, this is not for the antis, this is not for the haters. This is for people that might be frustrated with this whole situation. You don't have to give them any time, because it's just a waste of time. You're not going that way. You can just call them a slur back, and be done with it. I guess it makes sense. I just think it makes sense. Why would you try to appeal to people that hate you? Hold up, what is this? Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. That's probably fine. I get why people are frustrated with. Come on, come on. It's just a shit flinging contest. I was talking about a lot about poop throwing recently. I've seen more fun art about this, but I kinda wanted to show this savvy one. I was seeing one with the guy as a pregnant lolly. It was really funny. This is your culture. You have to defend this, okay? Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Speaking of antis, I suppose. I don't want to keep talking about this guy. I just don't care about the net. He has his own community, that's fine. Make no mistake about that. It's never gonna be... I hate using those words, but they're not gonna be one of us, right? It doesn't make any sense. God, if anything, I'm more a Finnish content creator than most VTubers, okay? I'm more up to the task. And at the end of the day, when they tell you about VTubing, which I do find really funny, but the definition. No, by definition, the guy is not even a VTuber. Even if you wanted to use the definition of just creating content with a virtual model, why I'm once again saying Flash. Yeah, no, I don't like that. The guy can do it if he wants to, but that's not the point. And if we're really purists of the terminology of the concept, VTubing would be whatever the fuck Kizuna was doing, because she coined the term. And despite me talking about politics and culture, something that I don't think most people would do, I do believe she kinda did talk about culture and tech, which is something I quite enjoy talking about too. I'm not saying this trying to justify, see, I'm an actual VTuber and you guys are wrong. I'm saying, we're not so different after all. Which is not quite the same. But moving on, I don't want to see anything about this nut anymore. I'm tired of this, I'm sick. I'm getting allergy from the nuts, I'd rather have fried corn. That's kind of delicious, isn't it? Haven't had it in a long time. Speaking of antis, let's talk about PETA. PETA? How are you supposed to say this? Those guys. The guys that keep killing animals. PETA is Ngori Umamusume, if we were going with the Game Awards pronunciation, predatory image to raise awareness about horse racing, sparking outrage among fans. I love these people because they're incredibly stupid, and more they have the things they post on Twitter is just fetish posting. I just take them as a meme. I sometimes forget they're an actual organization, and they do actually kill a bunch of pets. One reputed derby fans suspect PETA's recent exposed is in violation of several side games guidelines related to derivative works. It appears to be the case, having enjoyed the memes. I got you a present. What is it? A lawsuit. The memes, the DNA of the soul. Number of organization, people for ethical treatment of animals. Ethical. Just killed. Are they Canadian? Hold up. Are they Canadian? Activists Ingrid Newkirk, Alex Pacheco, Inspired by Peter Singer's Animal Liberation. The country. I'm looking for the country. I'm looking for the country. Probably Wikipedia knows, right? Is this made? Well, this is kind of made for animals, right? Virginia. Damn it. Okay. Ingrid Newkirk from England. So you know it's bad. And Alex Pacheco from Illinois. It would have been funny if these guys were Canadian. Made the post on December 11th, presumably meant to raise awareness about the suffering of racehorses. But the act has been met with massive backlash for name-dropping Uma Musume Pretty Derby and using an image of the game's character in contest which possibly violates the franchise's content guidelines. I'm pretty sure they're gonna mention it here. It's hilarious. They are attacking Uma Musume when people just love the horses, and they have been donating, literally donating, a lot for these horses' well-being. Do you guys remember those posts just when Global released about how I think it was Haru Urara was receiving a huge amount of the really delicious grass? It was way too much. I think they had to stop taking donations for a little bit because it was overwhelming. Yeah, those people really hate the horses. Come on. Come on, man. I was seeing some posts of people saying that thanks to the fans of the game, they've been able to take care of more horses. So imagine that. Horse good? Titled, If Uma Musume Pretty Derby Was Honest. The image seems to be Peter's homebrew fan art of Selene Suzuka. Like other horse girls appearing in same games. Heat Racing Game. Heat Racing Game. Isn't this also kind of a roguelite? I don't know how it works, I never got into the horses. Selene Suzuka is based on a real-life Japanese toy horse. The horse is famous for achieving several major wins on the JRA circuit, before suffering a severe injury and subsequently being euthanized. It is my understanding it was a big accident, and the horse needed its rest to save the jockey, which actually showcases the insane bond those two had. In reference to this background, Peter's recent post reads, If Uma Musume Pretty Derby were honest, your favorite horse girl doesn't get a comeback arc. One failed event, and the race is over forever. Just like what happened to the real Selene Suzuka. People love this horse, and people understand that what happened to the horse was really bad, a big disgrace, and you're spitting on the fanbase. Bad move. I think they enjoy the call-outs. Are they masochists? They probably are, right? They mentioned the big Selene Suzuka, she appears in Uma Musume, picking out in pain on the ground, her leg bent out of shape from a bleeding open fracture. Fans found this depiction to be an overly sensationalized and truly series of Suzuka's tragic story. Have it here. I don't want to keep that on your screen for a long time. You can look that up for longer if you want. I don't think it's necessary. It's not much better than those old posts for Pokemon Black and Blue. I mean, Blue was good, right? We all love Gen 1. Simply unauthorized use of Sega Games' intellectual property, as well as suspected violations of the company's strict guidelines on derivative works, more on that later, have not been taken in kind by Uma Musume fans. Shortly after the post went up, Reddit followed the post with negative comments and ready to mass report Peter to Sega Games. A lawsuit! Given the Uma Musume Pretty Derby features anthropomorphized versions of famous real-life resources, the game's existence strongly depends on Sega Games' relationship with the horse's owners and related parties like the JRA, Japan Racing Association. If they don't say the horse goes in, it doesn't. I also heard a really fun story. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't remember where I read it. But apparently, one of the owners said that they would only allow their horse to be in if the horse girl would have bigger boobs than the horse rival. And I think that's hilarious. That's big Japan to me. They just don't really care anymore, man. They had to be bigger, okay? And you know what? I think it makes sense. In order to protect these relationships, Games has established guidelines regarding fan art and other derivative works based on Uma Musume Pretty Derby. These guidelines are meant to ensure the racehorses' reputations are not damaged, which would, by effect, cause Games' handling of the horses to be brought into question by rights holders. I think they actually have some of these problems before. I'm not quite savvy about the horse women, so if I'm not actually correct, please understand. I'm trying my best here with what I know. Violent and cruel depictions of the girls are forbidden, and using them to advocate or criticize specific movements or ideologies is also off the table. So they're likely in violation of some clauses. Since the organization is non-profit, it's not quite clear whether the clause on commercialism will apply in this case. I mean, I don't know how it would work, because you have a Japanese company fighting an American NGO. I said NGO, but it's saying non-profit. They're not the same, right? Thing is, it's quite literal defamation. Not even by Japanese law, but by American law. So, a lawsuit could be understandable. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Given the circumstances, aren't only angry about their favorite game being name-dropped as part of Peter's activism. Nothing has changed. The opposite says something Games could potentially get in trouble for with partners that's jeopardizing the game. And if hilarious turn of events also jeopardizing the horses themselves. In addition, people have pointed out that the criticism is unjust, given that Games has on many occasions donated and helped raise funds for the care of active and retired race horses. Also the fans. So, yeah. Once again, they're just trying to shit literally everywhere and see if something sticks. They might be masochists after all. We have some comments here. We can check them. You can report them here, okay? New pet, okay, alright. I don't think this guy is unbiased. Guy man dude, as soon as you heard the word Pera, I knew they were gonna show something stupid. Unsurprisingly, the valid guidance established by and from Games, I won't be surprised if Pera gets out scot-free because they've somehow and somewhat managed to escape a lot of controversy. Don't forget about what they have escaped from. Oh yeah, controversies. One of the biggest ones is the case that they actually kill a huge amount of the animals they, quote-unquote, rescue. See, it's the final love. I just killed them. I love them so much. They have to stop suffering. Therefore, I must kill them. That's what they're doing. Those lines are not a quote, but a paraphrase of Lutimon Fall Down Mode, the final villain in Digimon Frontier, a falling angel. Funny how that works. Filipinos attacking the wrong items here. They should use women to help spread horse awareness in a way that doesn't harm the girls. But that's not what they do. They're just a bunch of haters. They love to hate. And I can get that. I do love to hate too. But they're just hating for the sake of it. So I don't think that's really that useful. Then again, they just keep killing the animals. I'm not laughing at the fact that they're killing the animals. I'm laughing at the hypocrisy. So, rest in peace. Potentially. You won't be missed, that's for sure. What do we have here? We have a bunch of stuff about games for a second here. We talked about this before, and it's only getting more stupid. Do you guys remember Brevex Junction, the RPG game based about blackjack? Apparently it has been out on Steam for like a couple of months. It's not looking good. Japanese blackjack based RPG's Steam version banned in Germany, China, and Saudi Arabia for bikini armor crimes. Publisher Riot on Japan recently announced that the Steam port of Brevex Junction was banned in Germany, China, and Saudi Arabia. I've seen some narrative about this, and I do believe, in the case of Germany, it's probably just bikini armor crimes. Saudi Arabia is probably because, quote-unquote, gambling, even though it's not real gambling, it's just in-game blackjack. And channel might be also the same. I think somebody mentioned some stuff about like religion-based or divine-based censorship. I think for Saudi Arabia. I'm not quite sure. I think it will make sense. Remember, they're gonna mention it here, I bet. Remember, they are accusing this game of exploiting sexually children. Children, by the way. Are you looking at these characters? Yeah, they're pretty big. Publisher Right on Japan recently announced that the Steam port of Bravest Junction has been banned in Germany, China, and Saudi Arabia. As reported by GameSpark, the ban came due to Valve refusing to remove the frequent nudity in sexual content tag from the game's store page. My goodness, this is awful. Okay. Frequent nudity in sexual content. I don't know if I can actually check this without logging in. I probably can't. Yeah, they're gonna ask me to log in. Can you just open up Steam and check it here? Now I need to check if this is a Steam tag or a user-generated tag, because user-generated tags mean jack shit. When we played through Vagrant, I almost said Vagrant the Story, and that was a mistake. The other Vagrant game, The Vagrant, a pretty fun game, all things considered. If you look at the tags on Steam, they mention sexual content and nudity. There's no sexual content or nudity in the game, which is really funny. Okay, let's see. Perfect Junction. It doesn't appear here. Is it because of my settings? I don't know if I can do this now. Hold up. I hate having to do this right now. It's really annoying, but I think it's really important still. Okay. Hold up, this can be fixed. This can be fixed. Revix Junction. There we go. Okay. Mature content. The developers describe the content like this. The protagonist costume is very revealing. Yeah, I can tell. When your HP reaches 0 in battle, a large illustration will be displayed as a defeat animation. Okay, probably breaks parts of the outfit. I don't think you're gonna see the funny bits anyway. And if I come here to the tags, sexual content. They have cute, but they don't have funny. What do they mean by this? They have sexual content. Okay. So I'm gonna assume that yes, it's because of the user-generated tags, which mean jack shit once again. How many times have we seen stuff like, oh look, this is Souls-like? What do you mean? What do you mean Souls-like? Ah, this is an MMO, this is an RPG, no, do not. They are generated by the users, but the users are fucking stupid. It doesn't actually mean anything. Hilarious to me. We also need to check if Dragon Quest 3 is banned in Germany. Because remember, Dragon Quest 3 has bikini armor that actually changes the sprite. Unless it was removed in the newest remake, wouldn't be surprising. Okay, I can close Steam. I don't think we're gonna need that anymore. Perfect Junction is a fantasy RPG in which you defeat monsters through one-on-one turn-based card battles with blackjack-inspired mechanics. The game was rated for ages 15 and up by 0. Okay, not even 18 plus, 15 plus, which is about Yakuza games. Yakuza games are 16 plus if I'm not mistaken, as it doesn't depict any explicit content. However, it does feature characters revealing costumes and some suggestive defeat illustration. Suggestive! Which could be the reason why the game ended up flagged for frequent nudity and sexual content on Steam. resulting in it getting banned in China, Germany, and Saudi Arabia. He also has gambling. I say tag. But in Japan, Republic contacted Valve regarding the issue, claiming that the tag does not appropriately describe the game's actual content, asking for an additional review. However, after the additional review, Valve judged that there was no issue with the initial judgment, leaving the tag unchanged. Dumb and Dumber. Holy fuck. As explained by the publisher, this means that the game will stay permanently banned in the 3 regions, without any possibility of a future release. Surely Europe is not censorious. Is this China? Well, they are on the same line. They could be. On a later note, alongside the announcement, the publisher also shared the satirical image of their fighter, character behind bars, being arrested for bikini armor crimes, crying out, "Oh, but this game is so wholesome." I've seen the tweet. I don't think it's Sam anymore. You can check that if it actually works. I think it does. Ever since releasing in October 2025, Brave X Junction has been facing issues regarding its suggestive content and provocative character designs. In November, it was announced that the game's Switch release would be cancelled for the EU and NA regions due to the game being flagged as containing legally problematic sexual content involving children. Children, by the way, we talked about this before. Children? I've never seen children like this, let me tell you. And I don't wish to see them anyway. At the time, the game had been released at the PlayStation Store, Steam, and Japanese Switch Store without any issue. You can buy it on Steam, it's like, what? $12, $10, something like that, I'm not sure. The game is also not that long. Do I have to buy this? Do we need to play this on stream? Maybe we do. That seems that it wasn't immune to Valve's increasingly stricter content regulations. While a variety of issues, mainly concerning Western releases, must be disappointing for overseas fans, hopefully the game won't end up suffering any further restrictions. At this point, you never know. This is nothing we haven't seen in games before. With lower ratings, by the way. So that's really funny. Then again, it's modern censorship. I shouldn't be surprised, and I'm not, I'm just disappointed. It keeps happening after all. I've also seen stuff about the UI and whatnot. I cannot believe this game is not from Nippon Ichi Software. Because some of the names, the fonts used, I'm like, is this Gaia? They look really similar. I don't know if I would enjoy the game, because it's Blackjack, right? It's a shame they don't have a demo. I would like to try it. Just because of the controversy, after all. But, I guess I need to check. Does this game has a Twitch category? I guess they don't. Is this a banned game? Is this a banned game? Hold up. I'm looking. It doesn't, but I see people streaming it. In the games and demos category. Well, I don't think it's illegal. Those people are not banned. My goodness, this is awful. Also, some of the monsters kind of remind me of this guy. Not because of the science, but because of the art style, a little bit. But I guess speaking more nonsense about video games, let's go to Japan a little bit. We're still in Japan, I guess. Let's talk about Square Enix. Square Enix's major shareholder drops 100-page presentation criticizing how the company is managed. Rouse other shareholders. Oh boy. Probably the same shit I've been criticizing for, what? 5, maybe even 10 years? But now it's a shareholder. So it actually has value. Seems like it kind of a... it's not that long. I thought it was longer. And they don't have the 100 pages here. But I think it might be interesting. Through the investment partners, an activist investor who owns a major stake in Square Enix is pushing for the company to reconsider its mid-term strategy. Through the investment partners, an infamously aggressive Singapore-based activist investment fund, Singapore, interesting, has published a 100-page presentation highlighting issues in Square Enix's management, as reported by Business Wire. Probably Japanese, right? That's a mix. Oh, the sage! The female sage! I'm not getting through this. Absolutely not, it's way too long. Please understand, I have limited time on Earth. As a major shareholder of the King Company, owning a 14.36% stake, that's actually higher than expected. Through the investment is calling on the other shareholders to join them in sharing frank opinions on Square Enix's ongoing issues. Their purpose to pursue constructive dialogue with the company's leadership. Even though through the investment partners is known for being an activist investor, investors who seeks to buy significant stakes in companies in order to influence how they are managed, often targeting underperforming or poorly managed companies. Okay, but you cannot tell me, even if this is based in some sort of ideology, sure, you cannot tell me Square Enix is doing great, okay? Maybe they have the correct ideas here at this point in time. People have been curious about what moves they'll make in Square Enix ever since they first started acquiring shares in April this year. Oh! So, in less than a year, they have almost 15% of the company. I'm gonna lie, that's also a little bit scary. At the time, through the investment, said its purpose was pure investment, and depending on circumstances, to offer advice or make significant proposals to management. And seems they finally decided to make bolder moves towards influencing the company's operations. In the new announcement, the fund argues that despite being a national brand who owns world-class franchises like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, Square Enix has been facing stagnant revenue growth and weak profit margins over the past 3 years, especially compared to peers like Nintendo, Capcom, Bandai and Konami. Hold, you know shit is bad if you're doing worse than Capcom and Konami. Holy shit. Well, to be fair, Konami has the patchy slots in Japan. They probably bring in the money. And this is pretty obvious. I think we've been talking about this for a long time. They keep complaining and bitching about sales. Oh, but we're not selling enough, so we have to try and appeal to the wider audience. No, you fucking idiots. You are in this mess because you keep trying to appeal to a broader audience that doesn't exist. Because you're ostracizing your original audience. Those people are not gonna buy your Final Fantasy games. You're making them into something different, and people are like, okay, this is not the Final Fantasy I like anymore, so I'm not gonna buy it. People are like, okay, but Devil May Cry is still better. So maybe they won't buy it either. That's what they say, they have to keep releasing remakes and remasters despite them not being good. Through the investment blames this and the underperformance of Square Enix's console and mobile game sectors, as well as exceptionally large write-downs related to cancelled games. Yeah, that was a big deal. And the performance on console, I mean, it's console, it's gonna happen. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 only releasing on PS5 was a hurdle, that's for sure. And mobile game, I don't know if that's the way to go. They have been cancelling some of those, like Brave Exvius and whatnot, so... For a gacha game, it was not that bad, honestly. This could be a really bad renaissance for Square Enix. They could become the sloppiest of them all, with the fun games too. You wouldn't want to have microtransactions and battle passes on your Final Fantasy 16, right? What about 17? That's never good. Interestingly, they also consider the company's arcade and publishing sectors to be non-synergistic businesses that are ultimately pulling down the company's value and lackluster performance. And thus Square Enix's plan is to reboot with its new midterm strategy for fiscal years 2025 through 27. Through the investment implies this plan is insufficient and too vague. Some of the issues cited are a lack of concrete vision for long-term recovery, low-balled improvement margins, and lack of concrete execution plans or KPIs for measures meant to address the company's problems. They're using really flowery language, but at the end of the day, it's just as easy as release good product, the good product will sell. I've been rather unimpressed by Square Enix for a long time. Honestly, oh, but the remakes, they are so good. Why do they always have less content? Sure, you might enjoy the Evil's Chronicles and whatnot. It has less content than the War of the Lions for the PSP. Despite the fact that you can change Cloud's class, I think. That's the only buff I think I've seen, I'm not sure. Oh, that's crazy! Ah, but the Pixel remasters, why do they have less content than the GBA versions? That's a big problem. Those should have more than 20 years. About 20 years if we count 6, I guess. That should never happen, but it does. Instead of the 3D investment and friendly approach, Square Enix's CEO, Takashi Kiryu-chan, with an analysis of these problems and proposal for improvements back in October 2025, but was not satisfied with the response. Allegedly, they only got a brief email that insisted the current plan was adequate. Well, say about that. As a result, they've turned to making things public and getting other shareholders on board, which is a common method activists use to lobby for their initiatives. I mean, yeah, of course, that makes sense. That's not to say Square Enix is obligated to listen. For example, even the small game giant Kung Ho has been facing similar pressure from activist main investors, with major shareholders of strategic capital repeatedly asking for the company to fire the CEO through scathing public announcements. I've seen some of this. We didn't talk about that on stream. I've seen some of that, and people were like, you know what, fuck you. Which I can also appreciate sometimes if they're clearly mistaken. On the other hand, Kung Ho has persistently rejected such proposals. Square Enix's response to through the investment partners' initiatives remains facing. This could be good, this could be bad, I don't know. This could turn Square Enix into an even worse company, which is hilarious. Just selling everything they have, trying to get a little bit more money, just eat crumb. Ah, brother, can you have a crumb of bread? Which would be obviously bad for the customers. But I do believe they could potentially, maybe, if we're lucky, fix the problems with the company. At this point in time, it's too early to know. I'm thirsty. God damn. So I've seen some people mentioning, wow, this is so good. I'm actually quite cautious with this. I don't think this is necessarily the best bottle lining or anything like that. Bottled. No more bots here, okay? I don't like them. So, we'll see if they had an idea of what to do for the next couple of years. Maybe it would be good. Maybe it wouldn't. We can only wait and see. What else do we have to see here? Okay, let's go back a little bit to talk about the government, shall we? Not a big fan of the government. And this relates to a lot of shit we've been talking about recently with censorship, the government, with the digital IDs and all that. And this is a huge combination of things that are an absolute disaster, really dangerous, and really inconsistent, which is not surprising, but kind of defeats the purpose. So, could be good, I'm not quite sure. So we have a tweet here from Gilboru, which is a pretty well-known site if you're in the otaku sphere for images and fun art. Not all of them are spicy, mind you. They have a little bit of everything. And what they have here is a little bit dangerous, because it has to do with Cloudflare of all companies. Cloudflare is now the record as having implemented a policy that permanently outsources all final decisions on the legality or acceptability of US-hosted, First Amendment protected content to FSM Hotline Germany. why are the Germans just running the US? I don't think they happened. Isn't that like a modern series? I'm not sure. A foreign entity that applies German law to content that is legal in the USA. From Cloudflare. Cloudflare. We will only consider lifting restrictions on this domain after we have received notice from FSM directly that the content in this domain has been deemed a false positive for CSAM. It's 2D, man. What the hell do you want? Once again, I'm screaming into the void. It's 2D! What do you mean by this? But it's hilarious coming from Germany, or coming from the UK, because it's the same shit. What about the rape gangs, though? Yeah, I would worry about those first, and not just 2D. It's the same cancer that seizes all your electronics permanently, for criticizing politicians and hurting their feelings, making a little joke, posting a meme, or even playing a violent video game. And they'll laugh about you about it. I mean, it's Germany, nothing has changed. It's not good, but nothing has changed. This could be a good point, right? Considering the number of American companies and services using Cloudflare, I think someone can unironically report them to the FBI for this bullshit. Maybe. Maybe. More likely the FTC would handle this. And forward where it needs to go in the end, but yes. Importance to be mailed. I think that makes sense. Hold up. Speaking of demons. Speaking of machine demons, I don't like them. Any of them. And this is obviously a big problem because Cloudflare is one of the backbones of modern internet. Week in and week out, we've seen Cloudflare outages, which is not good. They also have a bunch of stuff in different countries of the EU because of the fucking soccer. So, you see, to avoid piracy, we're gonna block Cloudflare during the matches. And I'm like, but what? We're talking about that. I think it was Italy. I've seen people mentioning Spain too. And I'm like, okay, but you're trying to crack down on some platforms. I think they also mentioned shit like Twitch. I'm like, dude, if people are pirating your fucking soccer, it's not gonna be on Twitch, okay? And you're so stupid, you're not gonna stop it. Anyway, once again, normies didn't understand anything. Hilarious. Hilariously bad. Pretty ass. Well, we also have here a double whammy coming from Australia. Australia, mate! The first one is hilarious, the second one is a little bit dangerous. Australia expects platforms to stop under 16s from using VPNs to beat social media ban. The regulator has refused to say how this will work in practice. As a website, how do you enforce this? I may not know too much about how the VPNs themselves work, because that server side was not my expertise ever. I don't think you can do that. In a technical sense, I don't think it works. I've seen people criticizing, oh, this is what happens when you leave grandma to make laws. They have no idea. Social media platforms affected by Australia's ban for under 16s are expected to try to stop users from using VPNs to pretend to be outside Australia, according to guidance issued by the e-Safety Commissioner. When TechRadar asked the Commissioner's office to clarify how platforms are expected to technically achieve this, a spokesperson declared the government they have no idea. Okay? It's not that they don't want to tell you, it's that they don't know. Well, it's for you to decide. Just do it. It should be that easy. Ignorant people, they don't know how the internet works. And sure, I will agree, tech stuff is kinda complex. This is just hilarious. Despite both support for the legislation within the country, enforcement remains a critical concern for legislators and parents alike. Okay, for parents it's really easy. Take the phone, take the computer. Why do they have access to these sites? Also, that should be the default position. not because of the law. Stop it! Parent properly for once. You're making me really mad. In email to Tech Raider, Dr. Justin Humphrey. Not quite Justine Belmont, but close. Co-author of the University of Sydney's Emerging Online Safety Issues report, said 86% of parents said that we need effective age limits on apps and platforms, but 86% of young people and 83% of parents said that young people would get around this. 86% of parents might be a little bit stupid. 86% of parents need to step up and parent properly. Okay? Getting around parental control might be achievable and even easy, and remember all classmates from back in the day doing so. But that's only because you're giving them access to a phone, you're only giving them access to a computer or a tablet, whatever you want. Any kind of device that can connect to the internet. How are you gonna connect to the internet with your mind? You can't yet, it's probably coming. Thank you, Elon. Very cool. Take the phone, take the tablet, take the computer. It's that easy. They don't need to have those. At least with unrestricted access, okay? I will social media platform monitor VPN use. I don't think they can, but sure. We'll see what happens. To comply with the restrictions, social media platforms may attempt to identify and blacklist IP addresses associated with popular VPN services. However, this often creates a kind of mass dynamic. As platforms block specific servers, VPN companies can simply deploy the IP addresses to circumvent the restrictions. They can probably match them too, right? This is like the fight against the adblocks. It's never gonna happen. You're never gonna win because you have deranged people with an insane amount of knowledge telling you, you know what? No. I'm gonna circumvent this, and you're gonna stop me. This approach has created significant collateral damage, potentially blocking legitimate adult users who are using a VPN to protect their data, and increasing their digital privacy. I mean, that's kind of the point. And not necessarily just because of using a VPN. It could happen because I know some companies have dynamic IPs, and if there's a lot of demand, you might be sharing an IP with somebody else, so that could happen. I know that's a thing here, at least. Alternatively, social media platforms could roll out Deep Packet Inspection (DPI) technology to analyze internet traffic data and identify VPN-specific fingerprints. I don't know. This works because VPN protocols like OpenVPN and WarGuard have distinct features, meaning VPN traffic looks different to standard web traffic. However, some VPNs with especially have obfuscation techniques, such as Surfshark and ProtonVPN, may overcome this. This obvious obfuscation, you can never win, it's just an arms race. Realistically, social media platforms will likely just cross-reference a user's IP address with their GPS coordinates and /or the user's historic IP addresses. Okay. Historic IP addresses? I might see? What are you supposed to do if you have dynamic? What do you mean GPS coordinates? I'm not giving you my GPS coordinates. You're not gonna see where I am. What are you doing? That's a huge safety problem. What are we doing here? Since users frequently grant location data permissions for taking pause or discovering local content, slap them. All of them across the face. See what I mean? Always safety concerns. People don't understand what the internet is. I've been hollering about this for years without end. Stop giving away your location. Okay? Stop it. And it's funny to me when I see people doing this that I understand are older than me and have been on the internet for longer than me, like my sister. I don't think she does this anymore, but it was hilarious to me. This was years ago, so it's fine if I mention it, right? She would post on Facebook, oh yeah, we're going to this, I think it was like a music festival across the country, and we're gonna be out for the whole weekend. And I'm like, what are you doing, woman? Now people know your house or your home, because she lives in an apartment, is unattended. Don't you think that's a big problem? You've been on the internet longer than me. The computer at home was supposed to be yours in the beginning. Come on, man. Be real with me. Be real. Nothing happened, but still. Just have these people tagging, oh yeah, I'm right here. Right here. Look at me, I'm a minor. What are you doing? How stupid can you be? There's a lot of people on the internet. So of course, you will see dangerous people too. Do not try to give them any kind of ammunition against you. What are you doing? You fool. Compare those coordinates against an IP address offers an incredibly efficient method of spreading active VPNs. What about they never show you my location though? Oh, now you're gonna use the social media. Good. It's actually good. Well, VPNs enable games to bypass the ban. VPNs don't care enough about this. Interesting VPNs surge in regions that have introduced strict content restrictions recently. In Missouri, search traffic for VPNs quadrupled following the introduction of mandatory age verification, while the UK is a 1,400% spike in sign-ups for some providers following the Online Safety Act. It's likely a similar trend will emerge in Australia. VPNs don't care, because that's not for the VPN to do. Because at the end of the day, VPNs are mostly for security. Sure, you can also work around IP blocks and whatnot, or region blocks, which I don't think is wrong either. But that would be defeating the purpose of VPNs. It's to obfuscate, and now you cannot do that anymore. Huh. I don't know about that. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Currently, global trends. Data shows no immediate spike in search interest, yet several popular VPNs, including ExpressVPN and NordVPN, are among Australia's top grossing utility apps according to Sensors Tower data. Maybe they were using them before already. The use of VPN services is a possibility, and will need to be monitored to see if there are download surges, said Dr. Humphrey. They will try to ban them, as we're seeing in the UK. Of course. Hey, look at that. The best deals for VPNs. I wonder why. However, their ability to bypass these restrictions will largely depend on the measures introduced by social media platforms. To some extent, you can bypass everything if you work hard enough. Given that these platforms often have access to general device data, including GPS, SIM card country, and advertising ideas, it's unlikely that a simple IP change will change much. Well, you're making some mistakes here, actually, and I can actually tell you about this, because that actually resides a little bit in my area of expertise. Hey, look at that! I know stuff! So, sure, in theory, you could be able to take information from GPS without the GPS itself, bring information from internet antennas. It's not really accurate, but it's been getting better in the past like 10 years. It's actually not that bad. Gives you a pretty decent range. If this is a phone, you should have a... What do you call this again? A permission set for this. Advertising it is, it's just hilarious to me, because when I use my VPN and I go into Twitch, suddenly, oh my god, what is this ad? I don't understand anything! Oh yeah, how would I understand anything here? They're speaking in nonsense, because my VPN was set to, like, the Netherlands. Whoops. They're speaking nonsense to me, cool. So that's gonna change with the location, and SIM card country is just hilarious to me. You think, with a phone, or through a phone app, you can take a lot of information from the SIM. It actually doesn't really work that well. I tried to do that. It's not as a fun project, but I was asked to do this by a boss at some point because it was important for a product. It didn't really work. It doesn't really work because it depends on the SIM card. it depends on the device, and I think it also depends on the Android version to bring that information out. And even if you can get information from it, it's not always complete. So this is complete bunk. That's why you have always confirmation for your phone number, like using messaging or some other form of authentication. Not just the SIM card. So this is bunk. All of this, absolute trash. Bunk, complete bunk. Debunked here in real time. Users are likely relying on historical IP data and already in the process of deactivating accounts. So if you use digital footprint, the digital footprint. Use use of access predominantly from storing IP addresses. If sudden switch to a location abroad, it's highly unlikely to work. So if you're traveling, you're getting banned too, probably. Not good. Despite this, we still expect there to be an increase in demand for VPN services as people look to increase their security and privacy online. Okay, to be fair, this is like a best case scenario for the government. It's not going to happen probably. They cannot be asked to comply to this extent, I don't think. However, younger users will inevitably turn to free VPN services in the hope of bypassing checks, but these are often dangerous. Well, unless you know what you're using. Free VPNs frequently monetize your data by selling it to third-party advertisers, lack necessary encryption standards, and can even inject malware into devices. If you or your child is considering a VPN, it is advised to use a reputable service with a verified no-logs policy. We recommend checking TechRadar's best VPN guide to get the most secure and reliable apps on the market. Use Proton. The free Proton VPN is the best there is for a free one. Because it's Proton and they don't fuck around with that. It's limited. I will give you that, it's limited. But you can use it. And it's okay. I mean, it's free. For something that's free, it's actually good. Perhaps even more concerning is the emergence of new platforms that are specifically tailored for under 16s. Is this a spoiler? Hold up. These are leading to a fresh and potentially more dangerous set of cybersecurity and digital privacy challenges. I mean, yeah. But at the same time, it's really funny that they keep complaining about this. When this is what's going on Australia. The federal government's long social media ban for children under 16 is now in effect. Here are the platforms and apps that children can and cannot access in Australia from today. Banned from under 16. Facebook, Instagram, Kik, Reddit, Snapchat, Threads, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Specifically exempt Discord, GitHub, Google Classroom, Lego Play, Facebook Messenger. I'm pretty sure that's Facebook Messenger, so that's hilarious to me. Pinterest, Roblox, Steam and the Steam Chat, WhatsApp, and YouTube Kids. Discord and Roblox, really? With all of the grooming allegations, especially on Roblox? And we have to mention YouTube Kids, also a dark horse here. If you've been around for a long time, you might know that YouTube Kids is filled to the brim with ideological content, despite what you might believe. That's not good. That's not good. Give me a second, I need to blow my nose. It's a little bit dry, but it's getting stuffy. And it was a little bit unexpected, this jump, but speaking of anti-sting platforms, Wiz, the Tinder for Kids app, exposes kids to predators. Congress must act. First of all, what did you expect? But even before that, the zero argument. What the hell do you mean? Tinder for kids? Despite what people might tell you, despite what Tinder might tell you even, Tinder is not a dating app. It's a hookup app. A hookup, if you wish. So, Tinder for kids are really suspicious from the get-go. I don't think necessarily that kids, when I say kids here, I just mean under 18, should be a bunch of cool little boys and never get into the other sex, right? You can have a girlfriend, you can have a boyfriend. That's fine, okay? That's fine. It's okay if you want to do it. But I don't think you're having an app for that. That's only gonna brew trouble. I mean, behold. Editors know, the story has been updated to correct the description of how users connect on the app. We regret the error. Yeah, I don't know about that. I still don't like it. An app called Wiz, also really unfortunate naming, has been making headlines lately for connecting minors with sexual predators. Oh boy. Oh boy, I wonder why. First of all, why do you have such an app? Second of all, how is this possible that these kids are not being parented properly? I don't know how many times I can say this. Take a sip every time you say so. Let it be water. If you feel yourself that you cannot keep drinking, don't. You might die. Many have described this app as a Tinder for kids. It is the same purpose of perusing profiles to find someone you like. In other words, connecting with online strangers. But unlike Tinder, the app is targeted at both teens and adults. Well, there's a problem. There's the problem. As the result of this app design, a 12-year-old girl meeting up with the supposed 14-year-old boy that Wiz connected her with, only to discover the boy was an adult male who sexually assaulted her. Of course, this happening is bad. Why do you have an app that facilitates this? Where are the parents? Where's the line by Norm MacDonald? Perhaps? Hold up. Let me look it up. And this might distract some viewers at large, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die. Obviously not the kid that got assaulted or abused, but it could have been prevented and very easily with just proper parenting, or by just not making an obviously honeypot app. An 8th grader being sexually abused by a 27-year-old man. I know my numbers, I promise. Then finding out she was only one of several underage girls he had groomed through Wiz. An 11-year-old girl being sexually assaulted by a US Marine she met in Wiz. All this in the last year alone. This has been going on for more than a year? I'm baffled. I'm baffled. The wood chipper hungers. Give them the flesh. They must feed upon the souls. Or lack of thereof. As reports of Wiz facilitating sexual abuse continue to pile up, nothing must change with the app itself, and more broadly when it comes to online child safety. You people are using this to justify digital ID. I hate you. I hate you. That's not the problem and you know it. How is such an app allowed to exist? How are the parents not involved in this? What is going on? You know what? I reject what he said. Norm MacDonald was justified. Just a few years back, the National Center on Sexual Exploitation urged app stores to remove Wiz on account of the rampant sexual exploitation occurring on the platform. Within 36 hours, both Google Play and Apple Store agreed. Later on, Wiz was reinstated with what appeared to be a number of new safety tools. Lamau. Time went by, however, it became abundantly clear that Wiz was not as safe as it seemed. If the continued reports of sexual exploitation weren't convincing enough, the New York Post reported on what happened when the company's safety tools were directly pressure tested. Although Wiz claims to have reversed age verification, a 52-year-old man said he was able to create an account as a 15-year-old. How? Because even though the age verification tech flagged this man's profile for review, he said that the Wiz moderators went ahead and approved it within minutes. This is even worse than not having any age verification to begin with. Well, no, it's not even worse. It's about the same, but the problem is not the age verification, it's the parents, as usual. So now we need to know, how long has this thing been going around? Release date? From EI! The Wiz app, a social discovery platform by Voodoo, of course, the first launch in 2019, with specific releases dates around February 24th, 2019 for some regions, becoming widely available globally by mid-2019. Well, there you have it. There you have it. I bet you didn't know about this until now, huh? With me claims of safety by boasting about tools like age verification, but behind the scenes, they actually thoroughly overrode the concerns flagged by these tools. So it's by design. I'm not trying to defend the digital ID or anything like that. I'm saying these guys are probably criminals if they allow this to happen, not of the age verification, but because they are allowing this grooming to happen by design. The National Center on Sexual Exploitation showed the story, which reached out to us. So the New York Post claims were false, and the 52-year-old's account was never approved. So what did we do? We tested the app ourselves, and our 28-year-old adult employee was able to easily create an account as a 16-year-old. It's time to understand that the internet is just not a place for kids. It should have been known for the longest time. But no. They're using just the kids as a weapon. For identification as usual. Nothing new. Wiz is currently enduring a fresh wave of bad press, and it has once again made changes on paper, such as increasing its lower age limits from 13 to 16 years, yet the figures of its verification still fall short. How is it possible that we had, according to this article, kids being 11 and 12 if the app was 13 plus? Honestly, we're sick of this. Yes, for different reasons, but yes. We're sick of tech companies utterly neglecting safety until threatened with serious consequences, and then announcing flashy new tools as a publicity stunt, while having zero intention to implement those tools properly. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of parents completely ignoring their kids, always ignoring how to parent them properly, always leaving them to their own devices, literally in this case, because we're talking about phones, tablets and computers with no control of what's going on with them. That's the main problem. And it isn't the only ways. We've seen this with countless tech companies over the years. This is about to piss me off, isn't it? More. Piss me off more. Meta whistleblower, Case Savage, describes the pattern of behavior perfectly. At a congressional hearing on September 9th, Savage explained Meta has failed to prioritize child safety until they are scrutinized by outside regulators. Then discovered to develop features they know are insufficient and largely unused. Later tested this as proof of their responsibility. The parents have failed to prioritize their own child safety. So why should we give them anything? If you don't know how to parent properly, okay, everybody makes mistakes, but if you're gonna refuse to parent your kids, don't have kids. You know what? I'm gonna be the anti-Shinzo over here. Do not reproduce. Do not marry. Stop it. You're a detriment to society. Surely nobody will take that out of context. But proving Savage's point, recent research found that 2/3 of male safety tools for minor accounts were ineffective, with only 70% working as described by Meta. The message is clear. Big tech cannot be trusted to self-regulate. Everybody has to parent. Aside from the parents, it has to be the government, it has to be the big companies, it has to be phone manufacturers, but now, not the parents. You cannot control them. They can just go on the internet. Now they can't. Why do you give them a phone? Why do you give them a tablet? Why do you give them a stupid ass computer? And you don't check what they are doing. Especially when they're this young. 11, 12 with no control? I mean, if you're talking about actual teenagers, like, I don't know, 15, 16, I understand being a little bit more... and giving them more freedom. Sure. What are we doing? What are we doing? This happens, because dad has been working all day, mom has been working all day, they arrive at home, and they're so tired, they cannot be bothered to take care of the kid. So, here, there you go. Advice. Entertain yourself, and don't be annoying. Kids are annoying. Deal with it. But deal with it on your own. A particularly promising solution pending before Congress is the Kids Online Safety Act. A bipartisan bill that establishes a duty of care for online platforms likely to be accessed by children. What this means is that tech companies must take reasonable care to design those platforms with child safety in mind. I do wish the parents would take reasonable care of their kids. But no. No, I'm not anybody's parent, okay? And if you are gonna force me to be a parent, you're not gonna like it. Stop it. It's a pretty basic concept. Before Subaru releases a new car, they must ensure it has functioning brakes, airbags, and various other effective safety mechanisms. If they don't, and someone is injured as a result, they can be held liable. You're mixing a product for a service, so I don't know about that. It should be the same for big tech. We want more control over you. Currently, tech is the only industry that does not have to worry about liability if its products are designed in unsafe ways. This is a really bad comparison, actually. Because what you're saying here is not actually what's happening, right? But they got hurt, they got injured because the brakes didn't work. Now, they got injured because they got run over by a different guy on a different car. It was other people weaponizing their products, their services against you. It may happen, it's not good, it's illegal, but it may happen because you will always have evil people. Importantly, this bill does not impose liability for the mere fact that a child is harmed while using an online platform. It only establishes liability if the tech company has not taken responsible care to prevent such harms while designing their product. Every single product can be used for harm. This is just like the UK. Oh, there's a lot of stabbings. There's a lot of stabbings, that's a problem. I guess we have to make new types of knives. They don't have in actual point, they can only cut. Surely nobody's gonna get hurt by this without even engaging the actual problem with stabbings in the UK, which is immigration, by the way. Now, everything can be used for harm, okay? Oh, what about the spoon? What about the spoon? What about I attacked you with a spoon? This is not a spoon killer. But they might be able to take your eyes out with that. Oh, that's harm. The spoon manufacturer, they're out to blame, obviously. Get your head out of your ass for once. And it wouldn't be the government if they wanted to have their head in your ass. The Kids Online Safety Act has been carefully revised over the years after consultation with several minority and special interest groups to ensure that it will not be misused for censorship. And nonetheless, you can tell yourself to feel better at night. It has specific language in place to block any application that will violate free speech. I just don't believe you. It clearly lays out what the harms are covered under the bill to avoid any overly broad interpretation. But you have to understand, hate speech, it's not protected by free speech. It is by definition. I'm sure to tell you this. I know that's not the argument they were making, That's the argument I'm making, because that's coming, because it has been happening every single time. In short, this is an incredibly well thought out bill. The glaze is real. They put the best child only safety in the narrowest way possible, anticipating and resolving all the common concerns people have when it comes to internet regulation. This is a real solution that both Republicans and Democrats can get behind. I want to offer a counter bill for this. Punish the parents that refuse to parent their kids properly. And this would be fixed in a month, maybe even less than that. Now that's a fix. Now that's a fix. You are fixing society with this one. It will never pass. They will never allow me to reign over them. What a shame. That's why I have to seize the power with my own power. It's coming, guys. It's coming. Vote for me, you don't have to. You don't vote for a king. You don't vote for an emperor. I'm coming for you. Congress has on this bill for 3 years. Will exploit children and teens and get away with it. This is a solution long overdue. That is incorrect, and you know it. It's not the apps that exploit children and teens. It's criminals using the apps to exploit children and teens. Which is not the case. Once again, the example you gave here with the car. Where was it? Where was it? Was it really this far up? It wasn't. There we go. And this example, somebody run you over with a Subaru? That's clearly Subaru's problem. No, it's not. No, it's not. If I buy a hammer as a tool just to use at home for fixing stuff, and I just go completely insane and kill somebody with it, it's not the hammer manufacturer's problem. It will be my problem. I use the tool for evil. It's not the people that made the tool. Is this against the Second Amendment? Hold up. Hold up. I might be onto something here. How did that happen? So that's interesting. That's really interesting, isn't it? Oh, not good. And if you think these laws are good, surely they will never be used for evil. Surely not. What about this one? From disclose.tv. British government plans to introduce cameras that detect emotions. Oh boy. Oh boy. Do you like 1969? Do you like Animal Crossing? It's coming. The British government is planning to expand surveillance measures by implementing cameras capable of analyzing movements and emotions in public spaces. This initiative is claimed to help prevent crime and suicides. Preventing crime in the UK? Wow, I'd love to see that. It's never gonna happen. However, it raises concerns about privacy and the extent of government oversight. You think? And consultation period until February 12th allows the public to express their views. They're gonna ignore it. It's the UK. It's been happening all year. Current technology already includes live facial recognition used by police in England and Wales. Critics argue these developments could lead to increased surveillance state. I mean, yeah, by design, what did you expect? Sarah Jones, Minister of Crime and Policy, emphasized the need for a clear legal framework to maintain public trust amidst these advancements. You would keep public trust if you actually went against criminals, but you're not. You don't get it, right? You don't get. They're from outside, they don't understand. But that's not how the law works. That's literally not how it works, right? What's the Latin expression? Ignorantia iuris non excusat. Something about not knowing the rules doesn't mean you're not actually breaking them. Something like that. Hilarious to me. It also ties in with something I've seen on the Twitter this past couple of days. I didn't save the tweet, and that's a big L on my part. I will say it. But I saw a clip from I think it was the WEF, As Klaus Schwab and his cronies, mentioning something about using some sort of device, like a bracelet of sorts, to check people's not feelings, but emotional state, to see what's going on with them. And people were saying, "Oh yeah, of course." You're hearing the Emperor's speech, and suddenly you don't like it? You're going to the Gulag. You shall comply, or you shall not exist. You think that's not gonna happen with chips, especially on the brain? I wish I could tell you it will never happen, but I'm afraid I can only tell you it's always gonna happen, and it's by design. What do we have here? Can we get through a couple of quicker stuff? I think we can. What about this one? Oh, from Germany. Police can secretly enter homes for state Trojan installation. To collect data from IT systems, investigators in Berlin can secretly search suspects' rooms. This is a Police Act amendment. Holy shit, Germany, nothing has changed. Are we sure this is not the 30s? I couldn't tell, man. I couldn't tell. With the majority of the coalition of CDU and SPD, as well as the votes of the opposition AFD, for fuck's sake. That's what pisses me off. It's always bipartisan. The Berlin House of Representatives passed a comprehensive amendment to the General Security and Public Order Act, SOG, on Thursday. The reform grants the police powers to deeply interfere with fundamental rights and cross previous red lines of the capital security police. Security policy, my bad, not police. Ontario Senator Iris Spranger, SPD, defends the law as a necessary update for the digital age and the fight against terrorism. Critics say it's a disproportionate attack on privacy. But the terrorism... What about not importing infinite illegals? What a policy! It's gonna get me in jail! Law provides for a massive tightening. The bulk of contention is the combination of digital surveillance and physical intrusion. In order to monitor encrypted communication, investigators will, in future... Is this machine translation? It could be. According to the Senate draft and the Anterungen der Urbergarten Abgeordneten, you know, I don't speak German. Not only be allowed to hack IT systems, but also to secretly enter suspects' apartments. The FBI opening up. It's literally the Gestapo, man. This project innovation is hitting in paragraphs 26A and 26B. This regulates so-called source telecommunications surveillance, killing TKU, and second line searches in order to intercept communication and devices such as smartphones or laptops before or after decryption. The police may use malware such as state trojans. My goodness. Literal malware. What happens if you can clean them up with your anti-malware? That'd be funny to see. Oh, that's illegal. What do you mean illegal? I shall not be infected by the Germans. Seems kinda long. Maybe it was not that short. Maybe I made a mistake. But the new Police Act goes out a step further. If remote installation of the spyware is technically not possible, Paragraph 26 explicitly allows investigators to secretly enter and search premises in order to gain access to IT systems. In fact, Berlin is thus legalizing, as Mecklenburg-Western Pomerania did before, a state intrusion into private apartments in order to physically install Trojans, for example via USB stick. What would happen? Okay, what would happen? Let's assume I would live in Germany, right? I will never, but let's assume I would live in Germany. And of course, because I keep saying, this spicy stuff on the internet, they want to put a Trojan on my system. What if they enter my home and they find they cannot access my computer because it's locked behind a safe box? What's gonna happen there? Are they gonna break that open? That's gonna be damage to property. I wonder. I wonder what's gonna happen. Not good. What if they were to try to introduce a Trojan in my computer, but they got shocked? They're not dogs, but hey, that could happen. Really strange, man. Really strange. And the security experts not only warn about leaving vulnerabilities open, they also see constitutional violation in the combination of residential space violation and digital investigation. I guess that's what also constitutes property damage, right? Even though it's a malware. Body cams, mobile phone searches, and license plate scanning. I cannot believe this is not China. This infringement on the inviolability of the helm is accompanied by paragraph 24C, which nearly regulates the use of body cams. While the use was previously focused on public spaces, police forces are now allowed to activate the cameras in private homes and other non-public areas if there are concrete indications of a danger to life or limb. Although the legislator emphasizes the aspect of self-protection, opponents fear that this will lead to audiovisual surveillance in the most intimate retreat our citizens of practice. I mean, pretty much the next step. Because let's be real, if they have a Trojan on your computer and you have a webcam, depending on the type of Trojan, they could be already spying on you through the cameras, which is kinda funny. Paralleling is also technically operating in public spaces. With paragraph 26E, the cell tower query is being expanded. In the future, the police will be able to request traffic data from all mobile phones from network operators that were located in a defined cell tower area at a specific time. This enables the creation of movement profiles of thousands of innocent citizens through grid searches who may have coincidentally been at the demonstration site. Now, rock left unturned. If you don't have anything to hide, you shouldn't worry about this. What do you mean, your privacy? Did you know that privacy is actually a basic human right? That's funny, isn't it? I guess not anymore. So much for data protection laws in the EU. I keep telling you, they're a fucking joke. In parallel, paragraph 24D creates the legal basis for the use of automatic license plate recognition systems. These scanners capture license plates in fluent traffic and compare them with wanted databases. Paragraph 24H also allows the use of technical means against unmanned systems such as drones, including taking over control. Facial recognition and AI training? Jesus Christ, they have everything here! My goodness, this is awful. Another aspect that is met with criticism in expert circles is the introduction of paragraph 28A. This allows the police to perform biometric comparisons of faces and voices with publicly accessible data from the internet. Maybe they were right with people wear masks after all, especially those full face masks. Now you look like Elvis. You're still alive! It enables the police to conduct automated searches on social networks or photo platforms. For example, with automated facial recognition is a material from video surveillance to identify individuals. What do I keep telling you people? Never show yourself on the internet. It's gonna be used against you. Now by the government. And I'm not even a criminal yet. In addition, the new paragraph 42D allows the further processing of personal data for training and testing of artificial intelligence systems. Thus, the representatives of the people create a legal basis for using real police data, such as images, videos, or text messages from investigations, for training AI algorithms. Data protectionists sharply criticize this, as AI models often allow conclusions to be drawn about the training data, and the purpose limitation of the originally collected data is rarely extended here. Not only would that break data protection laws from the EU, which whatever, it's a sovereign country, they can do it, but I do believe using individual are the owner of your own image. So it's not because it's EU law, it's because it's image property law. Right? That seems a little bit strange. Sure, maybe it's not for commercial use or anything like that, but they're still using your image for their purposes. I don't know if that makes any sense. Actions for deprivation of liberty are also increasing. With the revised paragraph 33, the maximum duration of so-called preventive detention is extended from 48 hours up to 5 days. In the case of imminent terrorist offenses, up to 7 days are even possible. Politically, this detention was discussed particularly in the context of the actions of the last generation. They keep mentioning terrorism. Come on, these are the people that are jailing civilians for posting spicy stuff on the internet, okay? I'm not a big fan of the government. 1330, what did you mean by this? To the working camps! Protests from many sides. And as you can see, everything like this happening just in the West, all around the EU, all around Australia, New Zealand, the US, Canada. It's coming for your ass, okay? It's coming for your ass. Don't be like, it's so silly Europeans. It would never happen here. It's happening here, wherever here is, because it's gonna happen everywhere, if you're not careful. The opposition reacted with sharp reaction. They accused Schwarzrot of Schwarzrot is an absolute name here. Carelessly sacrificing fundamental rights. Nicholas Schroeder, Die Linke, spoke of a blind day for civil liberties in the debate. Vicente Franco, from the Greens, considers the amendment to be constitutionally highly risky. The Alliance, now a SOG, views the reform as an attack on civil society. It literally is by definition. The Society of Civil Rights, the GFF, has announced that it will examine a constitutional complaint. Let's see if that works. Once again, this is kind of bipartisan anyway. With the decision, Berlin joins the ranks of federal states that have massively tightened their police laws. However, the combination of the new instruments made the Berlin package particularly far-reaching. The legislator has thus significantly lowered the hurdles for state access to digital and physical privacy. Berlin's data protection officer, Make Camp, you cannot make this up. Is this a psyop? Holy moly, what is this name? Described the legalization of the state Trojan as a frontal attack on the IT security of all citizens in advance. She said the sum of the measures as achieving a constitutionally highly questionable density of surveillance, which has always been the objective. It's always been the objective. It's always gonna be surveillance. You cannot escape. They must know. What are you saying? What are you doing? You cannot be allowed to leave otherwise, I'm afraid. Which doesn't make any sense, but the fuck are you supposed to do? You need to stop these laws from passing, okay? It's not good. It's not good. And I guess we can have another one that's a little bit funnier, even though it's still strange. It's not from the government this time. Well, it kinda is, but in different governments. It is time for the Thought Patrol. British porn star Bonnie Blue, deported from Mali after bang boss case. This is the chick that banged 1,000 guys in a day, if you remember that. Patrolled! I don't want to read the in short. I want to read everything. A controversial British porn star. I thought she was Australian. Mind you. I guess I was mixing her with somebody else. I guess there was also that tweet about how in those specific neighborhoods of the UK, where they have a huge amount of gang rapes, they also birth the most insane porn actresses. So I wonder what's going on. A controversial British porn star has been deported after facing a Balinese court for flooding the resort island's rules after she rode in a blue yacht? Ute? That's Japanese. It cannot be right. Labeled the bunk bus, with passengers in the back. Didn't that happen to a streamer guy? They were being spies and they ended up in jail because that's against their laws? Maybe you should know the laws of the countries you're visiting. Hot take! Hot take. Not everything is like Europe, where you can do anything if you're from outside, okay? ABC understands, okay, we're understanding now. Maybe I thought this was Australian because this is abc.net.au from Australia. The IMC understands 26-year-old Tia Billinger, who creates adult content. It's not a good accent, right? It's not working. What a shame. Crikey, mate. And that the moniker Bunny Blue has been ordered to pay a $20 fine or spend a year in jail after failing to use a goods transfer vehicle for the intended purpose of carrying goods. Ooh, $20 fine! I'm so scared! Yeah, the economy is not that strong, I guess. The high-profile adult content creator faced a potential 10-year ban from the Indonesian province for violating immigration laws after she was arrested on suspicion of making pornographic online content. But then in the West, you have gun rapes. They're never going back. Maybe these guys are cool after all. Last week, police raided the study in the popular tourist hub of Badung, near the island's capital, Denpasar, and detained Miss Billinger. 3 men, 2 Britons and an Australian, were also detained after police received a tip-off from a concerned citizen, according to police. They showed Miss Billinger being escorted to an Indonesian immigration vehicle and driven away on Friday night local time. As she left the facility, she blew kisses and waved at the camera. She is taking this as a joke. I mean, $10 fine is kind of a joke, to be fair, but still. But, woman, it's still illegal. Okay, it's still illegal. You cannot do that, okay? You cannot just do that. You cannot go to a country and just break the rules. Miss Billinger and her male companions, all in their 20s, appeared before Denpasar District Court on Friday. Miss Billinger told the court she owned the bank bus and said she was using it for creative work and social media content. She said she was previously unaware she was breaking police road rules by carrying passengers on the back. I don't think that's what's happening. I don't think it's because you're carrying passengers on the back. But we'll see. Miss Billinger told the court she did not drive the vehicle, but rode as a passenger. While reading the verdict, a judge said Miss Billinger was proven lawfully and convincingly guilty of committing the criminal offense of using a motor vehicle not in accordance with its designated purpose. That's kind of lame. That's kind of lame. She was handed a 200,000 rupiah. Are they supposed to be like rupees? And $20. Fine warned she would face a year behind bars if it was not paid. That's a lot of money though! Ooh, you can buy like a Kit Kat with that. No evidence yet of pornographic material, yeah, sure thing. Sure thing, come on. It's this woman. Speaking earlier this week, police and immigration officials said they could not find any evidence as yet that the group had made pornographic material. Instead, the group faces deportation for breaking tourist visa rules, including working without permits and breaking traffic laws. Working in what? Come on. But the majority in Indonesia strongly disapproves of making pornography, which could carry a jail sentence of up to 12 years in a... Oh, those are Australian dollars, not USD, I see. 360,000 USD, or 540,000 Australian dollars. God, it's so weak, what the hell? Mr. Arab said during the December 4th raid, police also seized camera equipment and contraceptives, as well as the bank bus. We know what's going on. Existing other witnesses were also questioned and released during the probe. Okay, that's a funny wording. And as for 14 Australian men, mostly in their 20s, with 2 age 19, were the property at the time of the raid. I wonder why. I wonder what was gonna happen. The witnesses were told that the content the group was trying to produce would be fun, as many viewers on social media would want to see it. Mr. Reyes said, "We all know what kind of content, that's the only thing you do, come on." The witnesses denied the videos were pornographic and were made with playful, humorous scenes. I just don't believe you. I just don't believe you, okay? Stop lying. Just tongue out to it. She doesn't do anything else. Disgusting behavior. Truly disgusting. And we're missing a couple of things for today, but it's fine. We can get to those probably next week. With some extreme yapping in the beginning about other stuff. Oh my god, I'm dying. I'm dying here. There we go. Gotta find my clicky things. So, what is the plan for next week? Well, I mentioned we were gonna keep playing Yakuza 3 and Pokemon Gold Christmas, but I looked up some information about the Pokemon game. I think we're about to finish it. I don't think it's actually 2 regions. Whoops! So I guess I wanted to find something else. I was planning to play that until the end of the month. I guess it's not happening? Well, that's a bit of a shame, not gonna lie. I guess we'll need to find something instead. I've been thinking Dragon Quest Monsters could be something else. I had to find something for Thursday. I'm still unsure of what. So I guess I will need to look up a bunch of stuff between today and tomorrow. That was a little bit unexpected, but that can happen. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me today. So thank you for coming. I hope you had some fun. Some of these news were a disaster as usual, but as I often say, knowing is half the battle, and we need to know if we want to do anything useful. We're coming back on Monday with more Yakuza 3. We're finally getting back into Kamurocho. I promise. It has to be real. But yeah, schedule up tomorrow evening as usual. And yeah, come back on Monday, and until then, you know the rules. There's a lot of people out there that hate you. And you know what I say to them? Fuck them! You don't need to be liked by them anyway. And take care.